Now we're on to step 6 of the Vedo Design Patterns catalog. This is item number 6, the collaborations item. The idea here is that you have to list how the participants, which were listed in step number 5, actually work with each other. In other words, how they collaborate. Step number 5 listed the participants, which was, as you recall, the link interface, the link objects, and the client code. Now we're going to talk about how those different pieces, different parts of the whole design pattern collaborate with each other, how they interact. That's step number 6, the collaboration step. The collaboration step is, as you see, step number 6. It's going to list how the participants, which were listed in step number 5, interact with each other. And as you recall, you've seen this one before. This is the design pattern schematic. You have client code, which checks for a veto. You have various links, which can veto messages sent through the links, and then you process the results down here. So you check for a veto in the client code, you go through various links, as you see here, and then process the results. So you have collaboration going on between the client code. The client code sends a message to the various links. Each link implements the link interface to give a consistent method that will be called between the various links. And so you have link 1 implements the interface, link 2, link 3. All of them implement the link interface. They are then classified as link objects. And you have, in this example, 3 objects, and so the collaboration is that the client code checks for a veto by sending a message through the various link objects. Okay, of course, you've got to actually come out and write down how the collaboration works in detail, and that might look like this. Collaborations, this is step number 6. It might work something like this. You use the link interface to specify the methods that each link in the veto chain must implement. That makes sense because the link interface is designed to make sure each link in the interface, each link in the veto chain has a consistent interface. After creating a chain of links, you send a request from the client code to the first link, which passes the request on to the next link, which passes on to the next link after that, and so on. So that also makes sense. After you create a chain of links, you send a request from the client code onto the first link. The first link then passes on to the next one, and so forth. The request is passed this way from link to link. If any link vetoes the request, all following links must pass that veto onto the client code. So you see what's happening there is if you have link number 2 vetoes the request, then that veto must be passed on by link number 3 so that the client code can see that actually a veto occurred. Okay, so that's an important point in the collaborations. The last link passes the results back to the client code. Since the request is passed in sequence from link to link, all links in the chain get the chance to veto the request if needed. Let me say that again. Since the request is passed in sequence from link to link, all links in the chain get the chance to veto request if needed. So that's the collaboration. That's how it works with the veto design pattern. You have the client code, you have the link set up in a veto chain, and if link 2, for example, vetoes the request, then it must pass that veto onto link 3, and link 3 must also pass on the fact that the request has been vetoed back to the client code. So all this is made clear in this step, in the collaboration step, number 6. And let me go through that again. You use the link interface to specify the methods each link in the veto chain must implement. That sounds good. After creating a chain of links, you send a request from the client code to the first link, which passes the request on to the next link, which passes it on to the next link after that, and so on. So that's the way that the veto design pattern works. The request is passed this way from link to link. If any link vetoes a request, all the following links must pass that veto onto the client code. That's an important part of the design pattern because as you see here, there's no way for the links to communicate with the client code except through other links. So if a link vetoes a request, that veto must be passed on down through the subsequent links. The last link passes the results back to the client code. Okay, that makes sense because that's the way that the veto chain communicates with the client code. Since the request is passed on in sequence from link to link, all links in the chain get the chance to veto the request if needed. So that's the collaboration section, section number 6 of the Vedo Design Patterns catalog entry. And coming up next is step number 7. We're making progress through the 10 steps, the 10 items that you have to list for a design pattern to be accepted. You have to create this in a catalog entry, and this was step number 6. The collaborations that are going to occur between the parts of the design pattern implementation that you've already listed. You've already listed the participants in step number 5. In step number 6, you list how they work with each other. That's the collaborations link.